So I thank you, Mr. President. In February 2024, Russia began its invasion of Crimea, a part of Ukraine. Little green men arrived suddenly, masked in unmarked uniforms. But everyone knew they were Russian forces acting on orders from Kremlin, despite the Kremlin's rather pathetic denials. I traveled to Ukraine shortly afterward, joined by my colleagues in Congress from both parties. We were there to speak with our friends in Kiev and to pledge our support for our ally, to reinforce our commitment to NATO's eastern flank, and uphold our obligations under the 1994 Budapest Memorandum. That memorandum assured Ukraine's territorial integrity in exchange for giving up the nuclear weapons it inherited from the Soviet Union. At the time, Ukraine held the third largest nuclear stockpile in the world. The U.S. was a signatory to that agreement, along with the UK, and so was the Kremlin. Ukraine did, in fact, give up its nuclear weapons in 1994. And sadly, Russia violated the terms of that agreement with shocking veracity. When people like Steve Witkoff say they believe Russian leaders keep their word, they are dangerously ignorant of history. In 2022, Russia launched an even more massive invasion of Ukraine. Just a month later, I returned to Ukraine, this time alongside Speaker Pelosi, the first congressional visit to the country during the war. But I'm not here today to talk about Putin's aggression or the administration's shameful betrayal of Ukraine and capitulation to the Kremlin. I'm here to talk about the critical issue of information security. Before each of our trips, we receive clear guidance. Assume everything you say will be overheard by the Kremlin, and everything you type on a phone may be a direct message to Putin himself. Certainly do not message anything sensitive. Just don't do it. The danger of Russian hacking and spying is high enough abroad. Just imagine how aggressive they are in a country they're actively invading. But that caution wasn't limited to our visits to Ukraine. As a former chair of the House Intelligence Committee, I traveled to many sensitive locations. Places like Iraq, Pakistan, Yemen, and more. Numerous secret trips were undertaken, and every time the message was the same. Assume everything you do on any device, personal phone, burner phone, it doesn't matter, will be intercepted by adversaries. And believe me, they care enough to do so. Here at home, we took every precaution when handling classified information. That often meant working underground in a windowless, secure, compartmentalized facility, known as the SCIF, inside the capital. No phones allowed, no devices of any kind, not even a Fitbit. It wasn't convenient. It was designed to be secure. We all understood then, as we must understand now, that preserving the secrecy of our nation's classified information is of the utmost importance. And yet, today, we have witnessed top officials in this administration discussing classified military operations, including military strike plans, on Signal, a commercial messaging app like WhatsApp. These officials created an unsecured group chat and shared sensitive information before the start of military operations, potentially putting our pilots directly in harm's way. Now, it appears this was not an isolated incident. Reports suggest there were 20 or more group chats involving top officials discussing sensitive matters. And the only reason we know about this may be because they accidentally added the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic to one of them, while he was reportedly sitting in his car in a Safeway grocery store parking lot. It would be funny if it weren't so dangerously irresponsible. Put aside the amateurism of using emojis while deliberating over national security operations. This was the digital equivalent of shouting our military secrets on the busy streets of Beijing or leaving folders of information in cafes near the Kremlin. It is a national security screw-up of epic proportions. I have read after-action reports describing what happens when an intelligence failure occurs, when a source or asset is compromised, when our networks are breached, or when the enemy gains even a glimpse into our operations. And make no mistake, that kind of breach puts lives, missions, and our national security at serious risk. Because when intelligence failure happens, it can be catastrophic. Informants can be burned. Lives can be ruined. In some cases, human sources can be tortured and murdered. Operations can be compromised. Soldiers put in harm's way. Our methods exposed. And once they're exposed, they can be adapted to. Future missions are scuttled because both human and technical sources have been lost. Officials are now scrambling to figure out how we knew where a target would be. Was there a technical source, like the target's phone or someone else's phone? and what missions in the future will no longer be possible because we don't know if our sources have been compromised. The loss of trust is also profound when it comes to our allies around the world. Those who contribute intelligence in support of critical operations. Published reports indicate that Israel may have provided some of the intelligence used in the recent attack on Houthi missile operatives. And Israelis, reportedly, are furious. For me, it brings back troubling memories of President Trump laughing it up with the Russian ambassador in the Oval Office during his first term, reportedly discussing intelligence that had been furnished by Israel. The fact that someone like Jeffrey Goldberg, sitting in a grocery store parking lot, could be added to a sensitive group chat reveals an astounding level of arrogance and incompetence by this administration. The reality that top officials shared information with such reckless disregard on an unsecured and vulnerable network, and did so regularly, is a scandal of historic proportions. Yet instead of accountability, we're met with more excuses and whataboutism. They deny, they deflect, they blame the journalists, they blame the publication, they blame the app. They say it was a hack. They claim someone's contact info was accidentally sucked into the group. The list of excuses goes on and on. The lies and obfuscation only get worse. And in the end, there's no accountability, no security, nothing. The so-called Signal Gate is a perfect microcosm of this administration's carelessness with our national secrets. But it didn't start and won't end with Signal, or with the use of Gmail for sensitive matters. Just yesterday, we learned of yet another purge at the National Security Council, as if firing inspectors general wasn't enough. Senior officials at the NSC have just been shown the door. Among them was Lieutenant General Timothy Hawk, the highly respected director of the National Security Agency and commander of U.S. Cyber Command. He wasn't fired due to incompetence, nor was he involved in the Signal group. In fact, the people in that group chat seem to be doing just fine. No! He was fired because a right-wing influencer and conspiracy theorist told the president to get rid of him. A troll, someone with zero intelligent credentials, walked into the Oval Office and declared that these officials weren't sufficiently loyal to the president. And that was enough. National security be damned. This wasn't about performance or protecting America. It was about loyalty to the person in power. How can we not see what's happening here? Or do we see it and simply not care enough to speak up or act? They are betraying our national security, and they will do it again. They are turning their backs on our closest allies and friends as they cozy up to dictators and murderers. And they will do it again. They are compromising the safety of our service members. And they will do it again. They are investigating investigators and prosecuting prosecutors. And they will do it again, over and over again, because this administration has all the wrong priorities in all the wrong places. And who does that hurt the most? The American people. What are we supposed to say to the families who lie awake at night, terrified that their father, daughter, sister, or brother might not come home from deployment, or worse, might come home in a body bag, because someone in the administration was sloppy with war plans and their plane got shot down? The Houthis have air defenses. They've shot down aircraft before, and they can do it again. The service members who bravely volunteer to go into combat protect us don't even know if they can trust their own government to do the bare minimum to ensure their safety. And the plain, simple, indisputable fact is this: we are all less safe because of this administration. We are damn lucky that no one has died as a result of their repeated incompetence in this handling of classified information. But that luck will not last forever. It has to change before our luck runs out and someone pays the ultimate price. Stay tuned. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thanks for watching.